What is up everyone, this is Jay from Dreamers YGO, and today I bring you all a new TCG metagame report. This one is fairly short and not as detailed since this weekend was a one-hit wonder for Magicians to shine at full power and everyone is getting ready for the new format. If you missed the video last week, the overall idea of these videos is to report in a concise manner, week by week, what is happening in the TCG meta. The OCG has this covered really well by websites such as Roar to the King and Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization, but the TCG is rather lacking, so I wanted to give coverage of this a shot, but let's go ahead and get started. I searched around for top decks from some of the regionals this weekend, but did not really find many. Likely they were all Spiral and Magicians, so no one bothered posting them. With that then, I only looked into the Indie ARG top 16 decks, since I found those deck lists online. From the top 16 decks, Spirals and Magicians were the most represented, with Trickstar and Paleo taking the other spots. I won't go into much detail into the Magicians and Spiral decks since they are largely irrelevant now with the ban list, but I did want to mention a few things that I feel are still useful to everyone as we move towards a new format. The new variations of Magicians are all really strong but not unbeatable, but I feel they will be really well represented in competitive events. The majority of the side options were fairly standard, but I feel Denko Sekka will see a resurgence considering trap heavy decks have more of a shot now. Also, I was testing Lava Golem myself when I saw it, and it works fairly well against many decks that leave 2 boss monsters or at least 2 cards on field, which many do. This can really help against True Draco with Inspect Border, Paleo since they summon Dupe in the standby phase, Electromite and Baguska or Vortex or whatever other disruption they leave, leaving you a fairly free way of making your plays, so I would consider this moving forward. Cosmic Cycle and Dimensional Barrier are among the most generic cards that many decks can run and also hit, so I think these will be fairly common among all players. Now, one of the interesting things I noticed among some players' decks was the usage of 2 Starving Venoms and the usage of Harbinger. Most decks can easily make Venom, but you often leave it behind doing nothing during your opponent's turn. Harbinger is a really good card to exceed into 2 of your level 8s to leave something that can at least disrupt your opponent after you have used it for the turn. For Spirals, I have nothing much to say. There were really no interesting things about them since the deck is so well refined and the players who did play them used very standard versions. Ghost Ogres saw more play mained and some people decided to move Ash Blossom to the side deck since it works fairly well against Magicians, the Ghost Ogre, and we might see this more happen in the future too. Now this is an example deck list for Trickstars. The deck went untouched in the ban list, and having spent some time in the competitive format, it has been significantly refined and works extremely well. This is likely one of the top choices for the next format to be the meta or deck to beat, since they will have since they still have the Droll and Reincarnation loop. They can play so many hand traps, making them great going both first and second, and have really strong link plays with Scapegoat. Now this is another deck I expect to do fairly well in the next format. Paleo still has 3 totally awesome and a really good floodgate traps it can main or side. Its main weaknesses are that it loses to Evenly big time, but Mind Crush has become fairly common in their builds to counter it. Based on the direction of the format, Denko Sekka might be a mandatory side, so they also might have many issues against that, but I would be wary of this deck since it's still very strong. So this is the overview once again, and with that, this is the last of the report I have for all of you. Before saying goodbye though, I wanted to mention this again. If you're all interested in helping this type of content grow, if you receive your invite at an event, send me your typed out PDF deck list to teamdreamersYGO@gmail.com. You only have to fill out the card information and count, so no need to include name, event, or any of that information. These would save me a ton of time and would provide everyone a more complete set of information since I have more decks I can look into and include in this analysis. Once ready, send it to our email in the following manner. Make sure in the subject line you include the place out of how many invites were awarded you received and the location of the event. Obviously, don't forget to attach your deck list. Sadly, all spelling matters, even special characters, so if you do not want to deal with that, create your list on Dueling Book and export it as a PDF. Once again, there is no need to include your name or other information and send me that instead. Okay then. I'm still working on refining this type of content, but feel free to give me any feedback. If you would like to help out, really consider sending me those deck lists, that way it's less time consuming for me. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.